Welcome to the New Movie Thing Show. On this show, we go out to the theaters and watch brand new movies that premiered today.
Brand new.
Unlike the show that we do called Movie Club, where we watch stuff on Netflix, and you can always go to netflix.com/SourceFed and get a whole month of free streaming movies on Netflix, and then you can review and watch and join in on the Movie Club show. I'm Steve Zaragoza.
I'm Trisha Hirschberger. So this week for New Movie Thing Show, we went out and saw Thor: The Dark World. Quickie review: if you're going out to the theater and you have a chance to see Thor and you like action fantasy films and you like superhero films, go see it, you're gonna love it!
Yeah, that's the thing. That's my quickie review too. If you like comic book movies and you're into Thor and you like the Avengers, go and see it. It's basically the exact same thing Trisha said. It's about how there's like this ancient evil before time even existed, and like these evil elf dudes want to harness that power and destroy the world. Yeah, and Thor's like, and he wants to save the world. Natalie Portman's in it, and Chris Hemsworth's in it, and Chris O'Dowd is in it, who's freaking awesome.
Renee Russo's in it and is kick-ass.
Yeah.
Might I add, one of my favorite parts of the movie.
Also, Kat Dennings is a silly girl.
You love her.
I do love my Kat Dennings.
Some Kat Dennings.
I like when Kat Dennings takes her shirt off.
Which, spoiler alert, doesn't happen in this movie, sorry.
Also, the awesome Christopher Eccleston is in it, who is also the 9th Doctor from Doctor Who was with Rose, and dude's awesome. And I really liked him in this movie because I like Christopher Eccleston as Doctor Who.
Him.
Yeah, I like him.
Yeah, I felt like this film had just enough fan service in all the right ways with Eccleston and tossing out comments about what happened in New York from the Avengers throughout the whole thing. But the thing that I enjoyed the most about the writing of this movie was the comedy. It's not quite as witty and clever as the comedy you'll see in the Iron Man movies, but it's not necessarily as super cheesy as even I would say the first Thor. I think it's a nice balance of the two. Like, there wasn't a moment that I was like, ha ha, I'm laughing because that was bad.
Well,
there weren't any of those moments. I was legitimately laughing at funny things.
I have to say that I didn't really laugh in the movie just because, I didn't because the reason why is because I went into this movie not knowing anything about it, not being a huge Thor fan.
You are not a Thor fan. That's important to point out.
And just being like, okay, well, like so give me something, Marvel, and give me something, Thor, to change my mind about the Thor universe. And it's essentially, like, someone asked me, did you like it better than the first one? And I honestly think
that asked him.
They're 100% comparable. Other people asked in the writer's room too. That's why I didn't say Trisha asked me. But Trisha asked me
first,
earlier
actually,
if I liked it better than the first one. But I feel like I didn't because it's exactly the same. I feel like there's not really a difference between the two movies.
I completely disagree with that. The first one for me was a little bit lackluster because they were making all these things. They were making things very hard to believe that they would be happening on Earth. Whereas the second movie is much more Asgardian and much more otherworldly, so it's easier to suspend your disbelief and really get into it as though this is really happening.
But the movie didn't have the balls to just stay in Asgard. We had to come back to Earth every once in a while. I was absolutely not entertained by every time we would cut back to the Doctor and what Kat Dennings was up to, and that stupid
Well, but that's why
boy.
I would say the second Thor movie is much more entertaining than the first.
Well, I mean, I just feel
for that exact reason.
They tonally feel exactly the same.
No!
It's all about a threat that's about to destroy the world. And that's the thing. I mean, all of these comic book movies, all of these comic books in general are always about a threat that's going to destroy the world.
And everyone's going to say, why didn't they call the Avengers?
Well, but it isn't until you get into the real personal comic book stories where it's all about, like, Logan and Wolverine, and you start to delve deep into the characters, and that's when you make a really good comic book / comic book movie.
That's why I'm going to argue that the relationship between Thor and Loki makes this one of those really good relationship superhero movies.
Not necessarily, because we've already seen Thor and Loki fight.
Not like this.
We have seen
them
fight like this.
This is different.
They're always fighting, and it's
they are always
the same.
fighting, but this is good.
I think we see them fight in the first Thor about, you know, who's gonna rule the throne. We see them fight in Avengers about who should please their father and being the one.
You're just not a Thor fan.
No, it's not even that. It's just that I want to go to a movie about Thor, and I want my mind to be changed about Thor. I want to go in and really, really like the movie. I don't go into this movie thinking like, man, I know I'm gonna hate it. I go in wanting to be entertained and wanting to enjoy it. And the thing is I was entertained. It was legitimately entertained, but at the end of the day, there's There's a lot of lulls. There's a lot of boring stuff going on Earth. And there's just kind of more of the same shit going on. It's an evil dude who wants to destroy the world, and the Thor has to come save him.
It's an evil dark elf. Come on, not an evil dude.
I know, but it's just, all it is it's like a template. It's a template of evil thing happens, world's about to be destroyed, hero comes and saves the day, end of the day, everything's happy.
Isn't that every superhero?
Yeah, but, I mean, not necessarily. And even if it is...
Most action movies, in fact, whether they're a superhero movie or not.
You can take that template and you can add in amazing writing, amazing character development, amazing shots, amazing score, amazing actors.
I thought the score was amazing, for the record, and I thought the actors all did a great job.
But I think an amazing score is something that you come out of the movie theater humming and whistling. Can you hum for me the score of this movie?
No, but what this score did was ramp up the energy for me to the point where every time we got into a big part and the music swelled, like the big orchestra swelled, I was like, yes, that's exactly what I want to be feeling right now. Good job, score.
But Trisha, that's the purpose of music. If you didn't have music in the movie,
right? But that's why I'm saying it achieved its goal. It did a good job.
But the score is meant to heighten the emotions and the feeling.
And it did.
But if there's no emotion behind it, other than the fact that the music is telling you to feel this way,
no, I
then
was
it's
already there. I was already there. I was on my surfboard ready to go, and then the swell of the music came, and I just fucking rode it.
Also, I have to say something that isn't a spoiler, but like, there comes a time in this series of movies where, like, if you're gonna have Loki that keep coming back, if you're gonna include Loki as a huge aspect of the movie, you can't like make everyone like sort of trust him and rely on him.
That's what makes him so good.
At the end of the day, you know he's just gonna fuck you over again.
You don't really know.
It's like, fool me once.
You don't really know.
I mean, but you do know. My final thoughts on the movie are, if you like superhero movies, if you like comic books, basically Thor: The Dark World is a graphic novel, a trade paperback of Thor. It's a self-contained story that you can pick up and read and be entertained and enjoy, and then put back on that shelf at Barnes & Noble and do not buy and walk away and remember it in your head, and you'll enjoy it and have a great time. And I think that's how I feel about this movie. And that's how I feel about most comic book movies, is unless it's an exceptional film, there's something very unique there, something different, something that changes my perspective about superhero movies and life and characters and all that stuff. I don't really want to own it or watch it again, and that's the way I feel about this movie. So my final score for this movie would be 6 out of 10, because I think that these movies should exist. I'm glad they exist, and if they kept making a million Thor movies that followed the same cookie-cutter outline like the first one and now the second one, I will still go see it, because I like superhero movies, I like the adventure, I'm entertained for the 120 minutes that I'm in the theater for, but I mean, that's all there is to it, and that's all it is, an entertaining experience.
I thought this movie was fantastic. I thought the acting was great, I thought the score was great. I didn't even mention the cinematography. Some of the shots just blew my mind. We had a chance to see it in 3D IMAX, and it was beautiful. I'd like to go to Asgard, please, like now, on the fly. I thought that the emotions and the relationships between the characters were a lot more real this time than they were in the first one, and I got so excited, I was like borderline fist pumping, and like Steve kept hearing me go, oh no, and I was making faces and stuff. Like, I felt like this movie made me feel like a lot of people feel, like sports fans feel when they're watching like a really exciting football game. And because I'm not that super into sports, like, that get me all ramped up like that, this is what does that for me. So I had a fantastic time. I absolutely loved it. I'm certainly going to buy it and probably go back to see it at the movie theaters tomorrow. I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10.
All right, Trisha, but we're not the only ones that saw this movie and reviewed it. So far, the score on the Internet Movie Database is 7.7 from users out of 10.
Woo woo! On Rotten Tomatoes, the critics were a little bit harsh on it. They gave it a 65%. They're probably more in line with how Steve feels about the film, but the audience gave it an 86%. So there's a resounding yes please from our audience members that got a chance to see it.
Thank you guys so much for joining us on the New Movie Thing show. If you want to join in on Movie Club, which is our other movie show where we'll watch movies on Netflix, you can go to netflix.com/SourceFed and get a whole month of free streaming movies and join us on that show. I'm Steve Zaragoza.
I'm Trisha Hirschberger.
I just want to see more Avengers. And I want to see, also the tease.
I liked the tease. Oh,
yeah, the tease was good.
There's a tease, stay after the credits.
In fact, the tease was probably better
Your favorite
than the
part?
whole movie.